What's up, everybody? Post-game recap today from Bucks fan Hunter and Cowboys fan. Obviously, you know me as the Lando Show. Full disclosure, we're actually recording from Sans' side of things today. And, you know, we're not professionals at the whole technology side of this, Hunter. All right?
No.
We're just a couple guys being dudes. So, yeah, we're working on
Dudes
the
being
whole,
dudes, baby.
Yeah, we're working on the whole technology aspect of it, but we're here to talk football. Pleasure again to be joined by obviously the degenerate HLS on Twitter, Hunter Lee Sands. Everybody, big win for the Bucks today. I'll let you take it away. Anytime you go to Foxborough, give Bill Belichick a long or extended period of time to plan for you, he's going to make it tough. The rain conditions obviously didn't help that. We saw Tom having issues in the first half, staying on top of the football. But this is your squad, so Hunter, take it away.
I wasn't impressed with the win. I actually hated that shit. Watching it was so, hard for me because we are this roster up and down. I don't care about the corner injuries, even though we'll get into Carlton Davis going out. We are a way more talented team than that Patriots team. Well, did they even rush for a positive yard? I just remember the stats popping up, and with 5 minutes left, they have -1 rushing yards.
Yeah. So we all know what happens when you try to run on the Bucks. The Cowboys made it no secret. They didn't think they could, and they weren't going to sit there and try, right? We saw that week 1. That trend is not new, and it's not going to continue, or it's not going to change anytime soon, bro. It's funny. I actually tweeted this during the game live. I got to go back to see it because I don't want to misquote my own self.
I thought it was a great tweet, by the way. I know what you're talking about.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, where is it? Oh, I think I was responding to you. Did I respond to you?
I'm not sure. You said along the lines of, this isn't protecting your quarterback if you run the ball. If they have more than 15 rushing plays, then they are. It's basically malpractice.
Okay. I just found it. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So you actually summed it up nearly perfectly, but it says complete malpractice, ignorance, and arrogance. If Belichick and company have more than 15 rush attempts tonight, you don't protect your rookie quarterback, in quotes, by going backwards on every time or on every rushing attempt.
Dude, there's really no point of trying to run the ball on us. I think we haven't given up we have 100-yard rusher against us, and it was Christian McCaffrey in 2018.
Okay. Yeah.
In the last 3 years.
That was before, let's say, so 2018, that was before the defense is at full strength. I mean, we're talking about Antoine Winfield Jr., who first-round talent, right? I think did he end up going in the second to y'all?
Yes.
Second-round pick. Okay. And then that was also pre-Vita Vea?
Yes.
For sure, right? And also, that was
pre-Devin White.
Devin White.
Yeah, we had Kevin Minter starting at linebacker. Yeah.
We probably just named the 3 best players
on the defense, other than Levante. But
yeah, at each level. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, and that's what was so funny. It's when I go back and look at that roster, you know why we led the league in rush defense is because we had Vernon Hargraves on our roster, and I
remember that. Yeah.
That basically sums it up. You have to realize they were throwing the ball 40, 50 times. It was like playing just a college secondary out there. We were getting 320 yards thrown on us. But then it actually became we were good at the front 7 after a while. So
yeah, it's like it was the approach to attack the Bucks didn't change, but it was just the reason as to why
exactly.
That's what changed, right? So it's a complete 180 in terms of personnel and talent and just a matchup nightmare that they present on the ground or on stopping the run, that is. Yeah, and we also talked a little bit about your secondary, which
depleted.
I wasn't personally impressed with Mac Jones. I'm probably in the minority when I say that. I thought given all the circumstances, he handled the stage right, and he didn't lose the game for you.
He kept the game close, and that's how Bill Belichick young quarterbacks work.
That's exactly correct. Exactly right.
That's it.
But I just didn't think. I was getting frustrated listening to Collinsworth. I didn't think to in my mind. Collinsworth kept saying, going through reads or reading the defense and hanging in there and making all the throws and taking all the hits. I think that was a direct quote, like obviously paraphrasing, but that's what he was saying. And I'm just like, I don't think he's reading any defense at all. Like, to me, it's get to the top of your drop and find your check down guy. I mean, and again,
Exactly.
So it's like it's not a knock on him, but I wasn't wowed the way Collinsworth at least tried to make it seem.
Dude, and just to back that up, their biggest pass plays were from Jacoby Myers, by the way. Their biggest chunk plays from passing were by a wide receiver who played high school quarterback.
Throwing it, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know what, like, he was chunking the ball downfield more than Mac Jones ever thought he could, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, there's going to be growing pains with Mac Jones, and it's not to sit here and me to, like, critique him or anything like that. Obviously, I'm not a quarterback guru or expert, but that's just going off what I saw. I think he's going to be just fine, especially they continue to add talent around them. They went and paid however many hundreds of million. Was it $100 million this year probably combined between Jonnu and Hunter Henry?
Oh, they paid them. And Kendrick Bourne, too. Kendrick Bourne got a check.
Yeah. So I wouldn't consider really any of those guys to be top-tier playmakers in today's NFL. I think they're talented. I think the name recognition is there with them just because of the roles that they had in previous offenses for fantasy purposes, right?
Oh, yeah.
But Hunter Henry never, just couldn't stay healthy. So hope he puts it together now, though. And then I think, too, another thing with the Patriots, man, I thought the game plan was perfect, right? One of the best defensive coordinators on the planet right now in Bill Belichick. He obviously knows what Tom likes and what he doesn't as far as what you can present defensively. But that defense still doesn't have its top corner, maybe its best player, Stephon Gilmore.
I kept thinking about that, and then I was just like, I'm like, damn, Mike Evans on my fantasy team, on my 10-man PPR league. I'm like, he's about to get clamped, and I keep forgetting. I'm like, oh, he's not playing. Stephon Gilmore isn't playing. Oh, we got a mismatch on every position at wide receiver. Thank goodness.
Yeah. I thought J.C. Jackson, he competed to the best of his ability, but when Tom wants to focus on somebody, I don't care how talented you are, he's going to find a way to exploit the matchup that he wants to exploit and find a way to get the ball to whoever he's trying to get it to. Tonight it just happened to be Mike Evans, but again, I thought it was a valiant effort from J.C. Jackson. What are some of your other thoughts that you have, maybe like that the media isn't hitting on or that the broadcast missed? Like, let me know what you thought.
To this point in the season, the things that I've realized that you may think are just like anomalies through the season. You know what I mean? You have certain things that you're like, oh, that's going to improve, or oh, that's going to go. That's not going to be as good. Our pass rush for some reason this year is trash. Dude, we got our 4th sack tonight for the whole season. And you're talking about Shaquille Barrett, who led the league in sacks. You're talking about JPP, who gets, on his bad night, on his bad years, he's getting 9 sacks, 10 sacks a year. Mm-hmm. And then everybody's talking about it. They don't understand how depleted the secondary is now with Carlton Davis getting that quad injury where he couldn't even walk off the field.
Was it
I'm
a
over
quad?
here thinking, yes, he said it was his quad.
Okay, I didn't see the
and
report.
Now I know it's
officially,
bad.
But yeah,
if you injure your quad and he was helped,
Dude.
he could not walk off the field. I know. Yeah. I'm knocking on wood. I know he tore that quad and he's going to be out probably for the rest of the season. I know.
I do too. There's a lot of telltales. Just the way he reacted, the way he completely stopped, and no weight was put on it for a while. You could see the look on his face, right?
Yes.
Can kind of tell. And so that's for those that don't know. Just real quick, and I'll let you get back to it.
You're good.
That's the 3rd starting corner for the Bucs now, who is more than likely out for the season.
Oh.
So
man.
For Cowboys fans, maybe put that into perspective. Imagine playing without not only Trevon Diggs, not only Anthony Brown. We're already without Kelvin Joseph, so I won't necessarily count him. You could say that name, but we don't know what he's going to be. 2nd-round corner out of Kentucky. But we'll just call it, say, either Maurice Kennedy or Jordan Lewis. Like, think about who you would be starting. I don't even think most Cowboys fans, myself included, I can't name. Well, yeah, I can.
You took the words out of my mouth.
But
dude, I was
yeah,
literally gonna go. I know how much you go deep into rosters, and I do too of my own teams. I was gonna be like, I don't know who's on the roster past these guys.
Yeah.
The fact that I know who Ross Cockrell is hilarious.
Right.
And I'm like, what the hell? I don't know what to do when I don't know who's gonna start. Richard Sherman looks. I mean, dude, he's off 3 days of practice. I'm not gonna kill him too bad.
Yeah.
But
no, I thought he looked good tonight to me. I thought he was moving well. I'll say that.
I thought, yes, physically he looked fine.
Physically, yeah.
I think building the trust with the teammates who has your back, who has zones in the middle, all that takes time. Mm-hmm. But physically he looked okay, but he was getting cooked out there, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. But that's also, you're playing against a smart guy. Like, Bill Belichick knew that was probably going to be the case. I guarantee you that was part of their game plan. Their entire philosophy was, let's try to attack. Let's attack the new guy. Let's let the
exactly.
I get it. He's a Hall of Famer probably, right? But
yeah,
you got to think that was at least part of the plan for the Patriots side offensively. Keep going though. I mean, I had another point. Maybe I'll think of it here as you continue to kind of like break down what you saw. I'll probably.
What I saw today was, once again, for the first time in a while in the Bill Belichick era, they've had a couple spatters here and there. They can't stop the run. Mm-hmm. They showed it. We had less than 170 yards ran in the first 3 games. And then we come out here and run for, I don't know the exact stat. It was around 150, though. Mm-hmm. Playoff Lenny was looking like Playoff Lenny.
Right.
And that's not good. Yeah,
and
that's not good if you're getting killed by Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones, who have looked useless.
I still
almost.
love Ronald Jones. He's still staring at me on my fantasy team, bro, on my bench. But
I'm not gonna lie to you.
He's talented, man. He is freaking talented.
He gives me. I'm not saying he's as talented as Miles Sanders. They give me the same feel though. Why come back to this team? If I know that if I get 20 touches a game, I can be a premier back in this league. Why would I come back? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just sitting here watching Miles Sanders get 7 carries a game and average 5 yards per carry and then not touch it again after the second quarter. I would be so frustrated.
He's got to be so checked out. I can't even imagine, honestly.
Did you see that sideline where he was barking at a coach?
Yeah, I did see that, actually.
Dude, I know he's like, dude, I don't know who the hell Kenneth Gainwell is. Didn't he wear number 14? He's a running
14.
back?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, you're letting this guy get carries over me? Like, come on, bro.
Whoever's watching this, whoever, happens to just click on my channel, I just made a video talking about how Shane Steichen, Nick Sirianni, and Jalen Hurts, those are all firsts at their position. One quarterback, head coach, and offensive coordinator. That's not, and today in the NFL, people, I don't know if it's talked about enough. Like, I think you and I actually talked about it off air, but those three, if there's no experience combined, if you combine for all but like literally 0 full years of experience being the head coach, being the offensive coordinator, and being the quarterback, that doesn't bode well for you in year 1
at all.
So
dude, the pressure they put on Jalen is killing me. By the way,
yeah, and again, I was critical of Jalen, mostly because with talking with Chris, it wasn't me not liking Jalen or thinking that he had a chance. It was me seeing any way that the Eagles didn't address or at least look at the quarterback position with at the time they had the 6th overall pick in this upcoming draft. That was my whole thing, was just that they're going to have to entertain the idea that Jalen Hurts is not going to be their quarterback of the future.
Absolutely. And this is the bad
that
position
was my only
in.
talking point. But now they potentially have 3 first-round picks next year, so it may happen again. We'll have to just wait and see.
And that's the shitty part for Jalen. You have to realize after today, that was his 8th start as a quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're looking at a dude
What did he have,
that's
3
like,
last year?
yeah,
Or 4?
four. I
Was it
think he had
4?
4 starts. Yeah,
I think
or
it was 4.
maybe it was games. I don't know. I saw the tweet that he's only on his 8th game.
No, you're right. I think it's 8 starts because
Yeah.
I remember that number from last year, and then there's obviously been 4 games this season. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's spot on.
Like, judging a dude off half a season is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's
it
what
is.
happened with Dak, but reverse. We're like,
The
yo,
opposite, yeah.
Dak is the new coming of Tom Brady. And you know what? To be honest, those takes, I'm not calling him Tom Brady. Dude, Dak is turned into a top 5 quarterback. And this is my saying it's a transition into the Cowboys game.
Mm-hmm.
Dak is so insane now. Like, I don't know. You know, I thought his growing was done, and I'm so naive for thinking that. Maybe it was my Cowboy hater in the back of my head. Get that shit out of here. This man's going to go buy a frame for that thing and put it in the background of his damn videos. Dude, this guy's
Top
actually
5 top 5 moment in our collaboration history, right there.
Bro,
Top
that
1.
guy, he's not good. He's elite. He's not
Thank
good
you.
anymore. He's
Thank
not
you
a
for saying that.
He's not a game manager. He's not this. He's not that. He is
And
elite.
can we-
He's a
can
top
we-
7 quarterback in the world. Like, he's
Yeah.
in that discussion when you're like, oh, let's make a top 10 list, and it's impossible. Dak is on that list that isn't on the bubble anymore, which is crazy. That's crazy to me.
You don't have a quarterback operate 4 games in a row with 4 completely separate philosophies and philosophical ways of attack, and the offense not really skip a beat. They we kind of were stymied a little bit by the Chargers, but you and I both watched that game. You said on Twitter it was the ugliest game you've ever seen. Probably paraphrasing, but you hated it. I hated it as well. There was lots of penalties in the red zone. The offense between the 20s was a well-oiled machine. They just didn't have the points to show for it. So,
Exactly.
yeah, man, thank you for acknowledging that. I don't have to, it's honestly a waste of breath to continue to say the same things that I've been saying for 3 years. Maybe I need to, maybe I don't. I don't know. But you summed it up pretty well for me. I just wanted to add on to what you said. The IQ is something that never quits improving at that position. That's why once you establish yourself, you buy yourself the ability to have the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady like ascensions of just elite of the elite, next level, just because of the quarterback position is everything has to happen up here. That's why we see some of the most talented guys in the world, they don't pan out because we can't measure what's between the ears. That's the level that, by all accounts, by all indications, I watch and listen to everything that's put out by DallasCowboys.com. Everything that's the media members are saying, it's 24/7 with me. Listening to Dak's interviews, his testimonies, everything he's been through, he is the guy. I've never actually been able to really articulate this, so I'm trying to get it right here. I'm trying to make the delivery correct.
Oh, you're good.
As passionate as I've been on this topic, but he is the guy. Everything he's been through that won't accept anything less than what we're seeing right now. He won't accept it.
Love it for him.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, man. But it's just special. I mean, it is. He's operating at a level that he shouldn't have ever been afforded the chance to. I mean, the dude was a 4th string quarterback coming out. He had the mishap off the field with the DWI right before the draft. He had a 2nd round grade, and then everybody stopped giving him a chance. But I think that was the best thing that ever happened to him. The chip on his shoulder, man, and just
Colin Cowherd said he should be a tight end, by the way.
Yeah, God, we're not even going to talk about that.
Remember that? That's crazy.
That is crazy. But yeah, just to see the constant improvement year to year, and to me, again, this year, it's more mental. What I'm seeing him do at the line of scrimmage pre-snap is elite level.
Elite.
He threw the ball 58 times against the Bucs defense.
We couldn't stop.
His first game back. 18 months between starts. Didn't have a spring training. or I'm sorry, a training camp.
Dude.
Didn't have any preseason football games. Barely had any reps with his receivers in his offense because of the shoulder injury before the season. 58 attempts, and did his job. And in the fourth quarter, gave the team a chance to win. We had the game.
Bro.
We were right there.
Tom
Unfortunately,
Brady
there
got
was
the ball last.
a 7-time
It
Super Bowl
happens.
champion on the other side that had something to say. But
It's inevitable.
to see that, man, and then just what I'm big on sports psychology. I read Russell Wilson's book this summer. It's like got me all jacked
You
up
should
about
be.
it.
You're an athlete.
But yeah, but man, we're seeing next level stuff. So my Dak rant is over, but just wanted to say that. And I appreciate you acknowledging.
A couple points from me about Dak. One, it's different coming from a person that's not a fan of the team. So and this is a dude that's a Cowboy. I don't even hate the Cowboys or the Longhorns anymore.
Yeah.
I don't hate them.
I wanted to
'Cause
make that clear too, though. Someone like you to acknowledge that. It says a lot. So
Yeah, because
I
I'm like,
want the fans to, whoever's watching this video, I hope they
like, for instance, to give a scale, it's like Cowboys fans for the last 2 years probably until now were like Dak's top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, he's top 14, top 12, right?
Yeah.
And now
yeah.
I'm telling you, I was wrong, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm wrong. I'm stupid, okay? I'm wrong. All right? It is what it is. I don't give a damn. I'm wrong. And that's okay. You have to admit that sometimes. Another thing, Dak has become this quarterback, which is weird for a guy where he was his first 2 seasons, he was a play action guy getting the flow. He needs no rhythm to be great. Usually he looked like a guy that needed the play action pass, needed a 3rd and 4 to get the rollout. And now he's just like, oh, you need a 3rd and 11 dime bag.
Right.
I'll give you a dime. I'll give you a dot. I'll give you anything you need. I'm throwing it. And the fearlessness of him with the ankle injury to come back and not – he was running against the Bucs. His first game back, he's running. He's going head first into Jordan
dude.
Whitehead,
Really
who's a
is.
psychopath. It's insane, bro. He impresses me so much now. I will never hate on Dak again in my life. I promise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunately it'll get to the point to where, for the longest time I got to pull up some archives, man, cuz this time, I guess it would be about a little over a year ago now before he signed his extension, right?
Yeah.
It was this fan base, and you can maybe weigh in on this too. I would say 50-50 in favor of Dak. 50-50. At best.
You're totally right. You're totally right.
Best.
You're totally right.
I was at war with my own fan base. I feel like.
You're a dumbass. You're talking to me about Dak.
Yeah. Dude, I can't wait to clip this because, I swear that's how I feel. That's how I honestly, truly feel. And I really believe that.
I would too.
But now, crazy stuff. How things just they change so quickly. But the NFL, the not for long league, that's why we love it, right? That's why we're here.
The one thing that I will say to sum up the Cowboys is, I tweeted it today. Just because you have a bad team defense does not mean you have bad defensive players.
Mm-hmm.
That means you may have young players, Trey Diggs. You may have a spot that needs so much help that it's ridiculous. Y'all's interior D-line hadn't gotten any better, but the supporting cast has. Alrighty, so we have some technical difficulties. Landon has a trash-ass computer, so it's fine.
I'm working on it.
Totally cool, bro. I'm using my girlfriend's MacBook. But the thing that I was saying,
it's my wife's, so
exactly. So the thing that I was talking about was just because you have a trash defense does not mean you have trash defensive players.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
AKA Trey Diggs, Trayvon Diggs. I will say his full name so we don't get this messed up. That guy, I tweeted today. Dude, this guy has become an all-pro. But to finish my point before we get into him, dude, sometimes you need some supporting cast for the the beefier defense like y'all's D-line, or Van Der Esch goes out with a super neck injury, or Jalen Smith doesn't know his spot in the NFL yet because of the limitations on that leg that was brutally injured in college. So now he becomes a pass rusher. He becomes this. He becomes that. Van Der Esch comes back, and then you make some draft picks. And if we're being honest, the Cowboys' draft picks, they've been kind of hitting, bro. They've been hitting for a while. Ooh, they've been hitting. They have been hitting, bro. Never forget the draft. They got like Zach Martin, Travis Frederick. They drafted their whole O-line, and ESPN gave them like a D-. And all these guys are all pros and shit.
Bro,
Every year they start.
Those unsexy picks are like they don't wow people, and you don't hear much about them because there's no real statistics that get thrown into the mix and into the box scores by offensive linemen. But man, yeah, those are high ceiling grabs right there, or sorry, high floor grabs right there with the offensive line. And a decent track record at that too. So going back a little bit, I first wanted to just say, like you mentioned earlier about the Bucs pass rush.
Terrible, yeah.
I wonder if some of that has to do with the Cowboys maybe kind of not exposing them, I would say, kind of setting the mold or just laying maybe like a semblance of a blueprint of how to attack them. For Dak going into tonight's game, I don't know what the numbers will say after this one, but for a 3-game sample size, he was the second quickest in the NFL. You mentioned this, I think, on your last podcast, right?
100 times I've mentioned.
Yeah.
This dink and dunk will murder the Bucs every single night.
Yep. So that's just the chess match now that we're seeing the offensive coaches figuring out how to attack the best defensive coaches. And, again, sooner or later with the personnel pieces, the chess pieces, if you will, that Todd Bowles has. I think that it's very possible that we see another adjustment, and then, the Bucs kind of find themselves again later on throughout the year. I don't know. We'll see.
Blitz Devin White every damn play. Stop letting him play pass coverage.
Yeah.
That's my game plan. Jesus.
Yeah. So here's the only. I don't want this to sound like I'm worried about the Bucs D at all, because I'm actually not.
Oh, I am.
I'm just curious. Like at some point, what do you do to stop allowing the shallow crosser, or just the check down option to be the extension of the run game? Like at what point? What do you do?
With this red zone defense, you don't. When you have the bend don't break off defense, it's the same with almost every team that's like bend don't break. You want to force turnovers, which we haven't done. Mm-hmm. You want to get sacks from bringing 4 or 5, which is basically our defense, because we have a 3-4. And Shaq Barrett, you'll see him in pass coverage sometimes, but he's not going in pass coverage often. Yeah. And other than that, with that red zone defense that we have, you don't do it. You can't give up big plays like we have been. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened when they got in the red zone. We stuffed them a lot of times. Yes, they got us with the play action fake with Jonnu Smith, who forgot how to play football for 3 weeks. He wants to catch the ball now. I thought he stepped out of bounds on his second foot, too. I thought he completely went brain dead and just stepped out of bounds somehow.
Was it close? I don't even remember seeing it being
wasn't.
Close.
It was me being hopeful as a fan. But at the same time, you never know. But at some point, it's defenses have to give you something. Mm-hmm. And that's why you tell people to take it. You can't do the Sam Darnold with the New York Jets or the Sam Darnold today where it's, I'm going to squeeze that in there. No. Mm-hmm. You take the flat 12 times. That's what makes the NFL. I was talking to somebody in the Xbox party about this. That's the difference. Like, we're talking about fantasy and drafting a receiver and running back on the same team. Yeah. In the NFL, it's not the NCAA where you'll mix it up for no reason. Dude, in the NFL, if you're giving up 6-yard gashes, they will run the ball 45 times until you stop it. And now with that Bucs defense, they're seeing Drew Brees look like a competent quarterback last year against us every time he played us. Every single time.
Because it was shallow to intermediate, everything to the perimeter.
We played to his game, which is what we shouldn't have done. And then in the playoffs, we changed the whole game plan on him.
Yeah. So I think
we said we're going press man and blitzing you. Let's see if you can get the ball out. That's got to be
the key for the Bucs. That's got to be the key.
But we can't press with practice squad corners.
Yeah, okay.
With Carlton Davis.
That's fair. That's fair.
His only flaw in college was that he pressed too hard. He played too aggressive. So now in the league, he's developed into, I know how to do the 50-50. Everywhere else, we have guys that are naturally safeties playing nickel corner, so they're getting torched in the slot. That's why Jacoby Myers had a good night tonight. Mm-hmm. It's just ugly out there, so we can't even change the game plan to what would work. So we kind of got to stick with – we kind of got to stick with, okay, let's basically let them walk into the red zone if we don't get a sack. Because that's our whole defense right there is the pass rush. That's what made us so elite last year was the pass rush. Yes, we'll give you shallow, but if the shallow's not there and we cover it for a little bit, can you get the deep ball off? No. But now our pass rush isn't getting there. I don't know what it is either. Maybe Ndamukong Suh's wash, and I don't know.
See,
I don't know what's happening there. But we're not getting to the quarterback.
Yeah. Still early too. So actually, a counterpoint to that, maybe. Well, not really. Not even a counterpoint. But the Cowboys somehow led the NFL in defensive takeaways, and they still do actually today. But like going into this game, Randy Gregory didn't have a single registered sack yet, and I think the first two games of the season. So before the Eagles game, I don't think the Cowboys had a single registered sack, but yet they were somehow leading the league in turnovers. So maybe that just goes to show you how good Trevon Diggs really is, since he was, largely responsible for that. I'm not totally sure, but sometimes there's just like weird trends and honestly just kind of fallacies that don't necessarily add up in the NFL. Like it's still only a 4-game sample, so yeah. I don't know if it's a trend. I don't know if it's just a weird coincidence. Honestly, this is why we need the all 22 back. Yeah. I'm just trying to watch film. I just want to see. I want to learn things for myself, Like, the NFL keeps, they're like dangling a toy or a treat in front of us like we're sad puppies with our ears pinned back. They're like, yeah, it's coming back. They're releasing all these dates now, but still nowhere to be found. So hopefully that's back soon because I want to try to make some cool content. Like we could be flashing all 22 film on this screen right now for people to see. Yeah, so it's like
this is what I
saw.
They're
not having to look at how ugly we are. Instead, they could be seeing some beautiful game film, but
no doubt.
Yeah, man. I don't know, bro. Credit to you though. Your last podcast, I think it was episode 72.
Yeah, it's getting up there, man. We're getting old over here.
You said something that actually I never really thought of or thought about, but it's like just with as far as us, joining heads and putting some stuff together, like we're doing right now. You said that you thought you would bring out the best in me, and I actually really agree with that, and I actually appreciate you saying that too, because honestly, sitting here, I just realized like this was probably the most laid back I've been in a collaborative setting. I think probably.
I bring that vibe. Vibe,
bro. So I've really enjoyed this, man. I don't know what else is there. What else is there to hit on though before we call it? Like I said, I could stay up all night. So you tell me.
Yeah. So basically, I want to touch on two things. So I wanted to give a shout out to Fanatic Perspective. Not trying to get clout, whatever.
Oh yeah, that's my dude. I just actually met him in person for the first time yesterday, but feel like we're best friends. I saw the
pictures. So the thing that y'all do that is so, I don't know, it makes no sense to me. Like when I'm on my podcast, I feel like when I talk sports, people get bored, even though I do know what I'm talking about. I do have some knowledge there. I feel like people get bored of it, but when I listen to you guys, y'all make the analytical coordinator, head coach, game plan talk entertaining as hell. I don't know how y'all do it, but like I don't even give a shit about the Longhorns. I'm over here like, yo, Steve Sarkisian, bro, the old line coach. Oh my god. I'm like, wait, Who cares? But in my head, I'm like, damn, they killed that. I don't know how y'all do that. I just wanted to shout you out right there with that. I don't know how y'all do it.
I can't wait to show them this. So, first of all, I will not necessarily rebut, but my response to that would be, how do we do that? I think it's honestly because we genuinely believe it. That's honestly probably step number one. Again, we're drinking the Kool-Aid, right? We're biased. So
absolutely,
there's some of that for sure. But I think just speaking for myself, I can't speak for the rest of those guys. But for myself, I know personally, like I said on my most recent video, maybe 2 videos ago, I don't know, I'm putting out stuff all over the place now, just having fun with it, man, wherever it takes me. But I've learned a lot. As fans, we have to learn, and we have to be able to ultimately separate when news happens, when newness happens for our favorite teams. When trades happen, when drafts happen, we have to start to sift through all the BS, right, and learn what really means something, what is real, and what is not ultimately. So, like, my biggest way, my analogy for that logic is this new coaching staff at Texas, and then we'll bounce right back to the NFL because I know people don't want to hear that if they're talking Cowboys and Bucks right now. But to me, it's you have a collective group of individuals on the coaching staff made up largely, they with resumes from they're coming from the University of Alabama, right?
Yeah.
Tom Herman, Charlie Strong, those were a group of 5 guys. At some point, resume matters.
Yes.
And for Texas fans, and for when the Tom Herman news broke, our validation was, oh my God, yes, we got the coach that LSU wanted.
No, he also recruited Ed Oliver, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah. So, but you see what I'm saying, though? Like, I actually said that, and I was actually hyped about that. But it was, we got the guy LSU wanted. It wasn't, we got our guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now that's different.
Yeah.
Chris Del Conte flew to, California and spoke with Kyle Shanahan. He was option number 1. That was the first target, being that he is, University of Texas alum.
Yeah.
Some fans drew the parallel there. So Chris Del Conte flew to talk with Kyle Shanahan, got the no, then flew to speak with Pete Carroll, and of course, again, got the no. But what did both of those guys say, and where did both of those guys direct Chris Del Conte? Right to Steve Sarkisian.
There you go.
You got those 2 guys though backing you. Like, if I had Kyle Shanahan and Pete Carroll backing me,
dog, like if I put that on my reference slip, you better hire me without calling. I'm not bullshitting. Hire me without calling.
You got any job
call
you
after.
want. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought that was cool. But yeah, man, it's those guys are talented, and I just kind of follow their lead, honestly. So
y'all are all
Fanatics,
talented.
the OG, and Texas Homer is like, with his creative mind, he's like a storyteller, but he's new kid on the block, and he's taking over right now. So it's cool. And then other guys too. We've that whole group of us that's just like, we've all come together, and it's been a lot of fun just hearing their thoughts, hearing their takes, and just trying to help each other out. It's been cool.
And I give them a shout out too for being so inclusive.
Yeah, exactly.
Dudes like that don't have to do that. Like, they got their shit rolling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, when you started out, you were like, you kind of got in there pretty quickly with them because you were so inclusive, and then they probably saw your content and was like, this dude has a brain in his head. He actually knows what he's talking about.
I just think it was perfect timing, though, honestly. It really was. Like, I did. I mean, it happened really
New
quickly.
coach hire.
It's just meant to be.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Lots to talk about
nice.
at that point, for sure. So,
I have another question for you.
Let's hear it.
We're about to get personal in here.
Uh-oh.
You ready to be a daddy?
Oh, yeah. No, I actually am. It's the more, honestly, from the jump, when I learned, I tell people this a lot. It's like, it's kind of a cool story. It's like a cool thing that you hear about, right? You always hear like, oh, your life changes, but you don't really understand or grasp like why. To me, it was just an instant, like, flip of a switch in my brain, like just my whole thought process, the way that it's not like my alter ego, but like my conscience just tells me like I'm not doing things for just one person anymore. You know what I mean? It's like I'm doing it for a family now, you know? So kind of crazy, kind of weird, but it's exciting. I mean, we're not going to know the gender, which to me I don't necessarily like, but that's what Case wanted. So it's
you try to prepare, like, damn, I need to get my mind right
until it shows up. Yeah, so
that's cool because Bert Kreischer, the comedian, he was telling a story.
Boy, right?
Yeah, his wife was telling a story about how Bert Kreischer was only doing like stand-up gigs for $200 a night, and then when he found out his wife was pregnant, within his first daughter being 2 years old, he was selling out like arenas because of his motivation to do comedy.
Just changed, yeah. That
he just like
flips, man.
Switch flipped. He's like, oh, I gotta do this. I'm not half-assing nothing I do, and I can't imagine for a person like you how hard you work, anyways, and how you're so good at finding passions. Well, I would say finding ways to dive into passions that you have more than other people. Like me and you took the risk of making podcasts or channels, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
And you
I wouldn't have this channel either, Hunter, if it wasn't for you, bro. I mean, I've said that too. I've announced that. So, like, you got the ball rolling there for me. But, yes, I mean, to your point, I don't know. I think you got one life to live, and
that's what I say.
If you're passionate about something, if you're good at it, if it makes you happy,
why not? Dude, I'm just, like, I called Chris out on my last podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, put your balls on the stove and get to work. Dude, you're like, Chris is funny, intelligent, knows what he's talking about.
I didn't tell him this.
And his writing ability is insane.
Bro, he's off the charts cerebral. Like, I was trying to get people to understand that when we did our Eagles-Cowboys breakdown.
Yeah.
I didn't tell him, and he's going to see this at some point, I would imagine. I'm not sure how much he loves us, if he loves us enough to stick through 40, however many some odd
worth
minutes
it, bro.
of this. But yeah, man, part of my motivation for getting him to come on was, yes, I wanted his knowledge and to hear his side and to break down. I knew people would like it. But I also want him to kind of
feel it,
yeah, because I think he would be really good at it. You know,
once you get that feeling, bro, I'm telling you, when I podcast every week, I just think about every week, like, what are some like joke topics I could have? What are some ways I could flip this in my own way? Yeah. And it just becomes like something I look forward to every week. I don't care about the views. I don't care about the subscriptions. I don't care about none of that.
And that's why I think it's so good, because it's natural and it's just you. Like you said, you try to make things funny in your own way. That's the one thing like I haven't really been great at doing, is like showing my full personality, because you see, like when I talk, when I get into my zone or whatever, when I have a topic that I'm passionate about, that I want to try to,
hone in on,
illustrate.
Yeah.
It's like I get it really intense, and I get tunnel vision, and I get laser focus, and it's not like the actual me, you know what I mean? But it's like the analytical me.
Yeah, it happens to me too.
I find myself juggling
my
that
mood
a
change when I start talking about like Heat basketball or like getting into like certain subjects, and then I get to like a goofy part of the podcast. It's like a weird, when I hear it back, I'm like, that energy shift was crazy. I don't know how that happens, but it just does, and that's okay. Eventually, I'll bring them two together.
So the hard part about what we do is we might think something is super fun. Like when I hear you cackle, like you make a joke and you laugh at your own self making the joke. Yeah, that is funny to me. Like that makes me laugh. But as creators, like when we post something, we're not in the car or in the room or in the house with whoever it is that's listening. So like we can't judge the room. Like we don't get feedback necessarily unless someone comments, which most people don't. Like they're too busy to really provide like honest quality feedback, right? And I totally get that because I'm the same way in a lot of regards, but we don't get that feedback necessarily. So I juggle with that too. I'm like scratching my head sometimes. I'm like, was that too much? Or was that me actually being me and that's what people want to see anyways?
Yeah.
Or should I have added a little bit of extra here? Or, do I need to do less, just me sitting in front of a camera? Should it be more disembodied stuff? Like, do I need to really expand on my knowledge of editing and all that, which I'm not great at?
Yeah.
But,
and then you start going, should I re-record this whole video? And I'm like, wait,
should I trash this entire file and start over?
Did I record this whole fucking podcast over? Because I did a whole hour and I was giggling the whole time, and then I listened back and I still think it's funny, but is it funny to them? Yeah. I do that all the time, but I've been trying to restrain my laughing at myself. I don't know what it is. I just try to do it, but I can't at some points. Because the thing is, dude, none of the shit I say is planned out. I just say it, and then I start
organic.
like, that was nuts, and I start laughing. I'm like, why did I just say that?
Did that really just come out of my mouth?
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I said that. And that's the thing. I love giving that to people. Like, even random stuff on my podcast where I'm just like, I'm literally stuttering for a minute and a half, and I'm not cutting it. I'm not cutting it, bro.
Care. Yeah.
I literally don't care. You're going to see me for me. I'm always myself on my podcast, and I give myself credit. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just in here talking shit most of the time. That's the name of the podcast, Shooting the Shit with Sands. That's all I'm doing.
That's literally it. That's what you get, folks.
I'm just talking, man.
Nothing held back.
All right. We are back.
Where were we?
20 minutes. Landon just can't. Computers.
We're struggling. So
yeah,
if you have
we're
a new
basically
PC
just talking
that
about
you'd like to donate, let me know.
Dude, for real. If you want, hey, listen, try and donate, man.
Donations welcome.
Put the Cash App in the description.
Shoot.
Yeah, we're basically still just talking about like being yourself on your podcast and how to differentiate being analytical in yourself. And like I've said multiple times, like, I don't know. I can get analytical if I need to. That's just not me. I also think people have brands to keep up. Like, if I was on, for instance, let's say in a dream world, Fanatic brings me on his podcast to give a Texas-Arkansas preview.
Yeah.
I bet I would not say 2 curse words the whole time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like mostly when you're not, like with you, it's not like you're cursing all the time on your shows and shit, but it's like with me, you're one of my closest friends in real life, and it makes me feel comfortable just being on here, just bang, bang. I remember last time I was on here, I said BSing, and I said it, and I kept explaining my point, and in my head I was like, why did I say BSing? Why did I just do that?
It's like the filter, for whatever reason, automatically comes on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I can't let that happen, or it's like it's just taking a little piece by piece of myself.
Yeah. And again, that like comes with time. Like as we continue to learn how to like flow better, which I don't think we're having any problems now. But I think that's just kind of what you're alluding to. But you said, what was I about to say? I'm already losing my train of thought here.
You're good.
Oh, I told you. Because you were kind of like wondering about that the first time, right? When we did our Cowboys Bucks like kind of post game ramp up, the first time we chatted.
Yeah.
You asked about that, and I said, pretty much like I wouldn't have brought you, or I wouldn't have wanted to collaborate together if I didn't want you to be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And that gave me all the confidence. That was the green light I needed.
Yeah. No, exactly. So that's it. I mean. You're you for you. That's you just gotta. That's what you gotta be, man. What are we? Oh, so I just during the break I realized Taji just texted me. He won by 1/10 of a point. Did you?
He
see
won
that?
in fantasy. That is the worst roster I've ever seen constructed in my life.
Bro.
Yo, he won a week. I thought he was going 0-14. I swear to God. I thought he was dead.
Y'all have to see. Y'all have to see his face. So this man, I was sitting next to him today during the entirety of the game. Right, we watched almost every game together today. This was his face. Can you see that clearly at all?
Yes, that is his face.
So, okay, he made that, that goofy little grin that he does when he, cracks a joke and he just kind of, looks at you. Know what I mean?
Smart-ass remark, yeah. He says something about my knees and then looks at me like that, yeah.
Okay, so I'm setting the scene, honestly, for Chris because I want Chris to just die laughing and Haas and anyone else in our league, whoever cares enough to watch this video. This fool is sitting here like this, right? Almost sad. Just like this. With his phone in his lap. And he looks at me and he goes, "We got a freaking barn burner over here."
This man dropped 82 points.
74, bro. 74 points.
He dropped 74?
And he got a dub. God. He got a dub.
He's sickening, bro. When I saw that roster on my...
This man's name, so just for y'all, I don't know. For anybody who may not be familiar that's listening still, thank you. But this man's name before this week was The Lord Help Please. So he changes his name to The Lord and then however his
Najee Taji, because he has Najee Harris.
But today, bro, he sent me the screenshot that I just saw literally 10 minutes ago, right before we came back on. And it was the screenshot of his matchup victory circled with him and Daniel, and he changed his name to The Lord Wins with capital W.
He said Sundays are the Lord's days, man.
The Lord wins on Sundays, man, by 1/10 of a point, bro. That's big time.
Fantasy, bro. That's rough.
Crazy. Yeah, I still can't believe I meant to do a video on this. I wanted to. See, that's where my creative mind lacks. I could have made something happen, but right before the week 3 noon slate began, last week, I literally said on stream on Instagram that I should play. I gave a 2-minute spiel on why I should claim the Saints defense.
Yeah,
to play them over Washington, who was playing the Bills that last week, and they got beat by
Washington's
30.
terrible right now.
Yeah. So I literally sat there on Instagram Live and on YouTube. It's actually on my channel now. It's posted. Talking about why I should pick up the Saints and start them. But for whatever reason, I got off the chat 5 minutes before kickoff, and I was just kind of closing everything down, right, for the day and just trying to get unsettled from my desk here. And I completely forgot to grab the Saints, who their defense finished with 19 last week. I don't remember who they played. But it turned out being a 28-point swing. Yeah, there you go.
They had a pick six.
So it turned out to be a 28-point swing, a negative swing against me and in favor of my opponent because I started Washington's D, who ended up with -9 against the Bills. So that was crazy. But, yeah, man, it's just it's maybe had I put the Saints in my lineup and started them as my defense like I planned on doing, who knows if nothing's guaranteed. That's why we're literally gambling. It's fantasy football is just a giant 6-month-long gamble fest. That's literally what it is.
I mean, I've improved this year because I'm actually managing the team instead of riding with my guys, Yeah. So I'd take Damian Harris out, put Cordero Patterson in.
That was a great play, by the way. I was just sitting there salivating because it's funny because Kavanaugh had the same question, and he asked on Twitter, should he start Damian Harris or Cordero Patterson, and I also said Patterson, so it was cool to see.
It's just a bad matchup. Dude, Cordero Patterson isn't random. He really isn't. Dude, he's RB1 right now. Yeah. He's an RB1. He's after this week, he's going to be in the top 10 RBs.
Yeah.
But after that, and then.
It's wild that a special teams lifer, essentially, right, for lack of a better term, has.
Yeah.
It's like the top playmaker on an NFL roster right now. It's just, He's a kind of a unicorn when it comes to his combination of size and speed. But that's speed in a straight line. Like, he's not really elusive at all with the ball. He doesn't run great routes. He's just a big body, man, and he just, credit to him. He knows how to play with it.
They were comparing him to Derrick Henry in the sense that he's tall and he's fast, straight line.
Straight line.
I don't like it. I think they're just going, that's a black guy with dreads. Let's call him Derrick Henry.
Oh my god. That's a cop out kind of, right? Like,
yeah, that's literally the cop out of the. If I see another NBA draft where their pro comp is the dude that looks like him with the same haircut, I'm gonna lose my mind. Mm-hmm. They're the same height. They have the same haircut. There you go. I'm like, all right, not relevant.
Hunter's you're the NBA guy. Like, that's one thing that is unique about your channel too. That everybody loves football where we live, where we're from in Texas, right? That's king here.
Yeah.
But I've never really seen or heard someone outside of Chris, obviously.
Yeah.
Be able to just really understand and break down basketball in the NBA the way that you guys can. So, again, man, I'm trying to make sure everybody listening is kind of filled in, kind of gets a grasp for what we're doing here, what we're about. But your show, you talk about your teams, obviously, Arkansas, Miami, the Heat, that is, and the Bucks. And then you provide entertainment through, like, the outlet of comedic effect, comedy, right?
Yeah.
And also just your overall knowledge of basketball, and then the way that you process football, I think is cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's different. And I think the way that you were able to sort of get the listener to kind of understand the seat that you're sitting in when you're, like, managing your fantasy team, and then talking about kind of the competitiveness just of, the characters that we have.
Absolutely.
In our league. That's cool. So just kind of filling people in a little bit about your channel from my view. I really enjoy
and I want people to know
the NBA and all that stuff. So
I want people to know, if they're watching this, if they're still watching this hour-long video. This has been fun for us. I don't care. But if people are still watching this, dude, I'm not some try-hard that's like doing dad jokes. I'm literally just talking, and then I say something random that it's word vomit in the worst way. Yeah. And I can't stop saying what I'm saying, and I'm not going to edit it out. All right?
Right.
It's nothing overly offensive. It's nothing crazy, but it's just like, damn, he really said that just now. Like,
yeah,
whoa.
Exactly.
So,
damn.
But yeah, man, it is what it is. I can't wait for the NBA season. That's where I live.
I know,
man.
It's coming up quick, actually. I don't go crazy for it, but I am excited to see Luka, and I'm hearing good things, about Jason Kidd, the way he's been able to sort of win Kristaps Porzingis back. I don't know, bro. It felt like a lost cause last year, certainly, when we were watching things kind of.
Rumors are rumors in the NBA. Yeah, I'll tell you that.
Say it again.
The NBA is so different than the NFL. The NBA is a rumor mill. It's like Gossip Girl for sports. Okay. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, I can see that.
With the NFL, it's like where there's smoke, there is an ember of a fire, most likely.
Gas chamber, yeah.
Dude, literally just like you broke the propane tank and you're waiting for a lighter to get lit. In the NBA, it will be a smoke bomb that you got out of a fireworks shop, and they're acting like it's a full-blown forest fire.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I can see that. There is a lot more drama-infused transactions.
Absolutely.
That was horrible English. There are a lot more drama-infused transactions that involve.
You sound like me on my podcast, bro.
Yeah.
I'm shutting off on you.
Hey, man, it's late. I've had a long 2 days of football watching, so maybe I'm just tired. I don't know, but I don't feel tired right now. I feel like my team's 3-1. Both of my teams won 3 consecutive weekends in a row. I don't think that's ever happened in my lifetime. So
did mine, because I don't know what happened on Saturday, but it doesn't count.
It doesn't count. Yeah. So Hunter's an Arkansas fan.
Die hard since I was 5.
You asked me, and I'm glad you just reminded me. You asked me if you were allowed to cry. Tears. Real actual tears.
Dude.
On my show.
In the moment, I was.
YouTube channel, yeah. It didn't work out. I thought, obviously, I don't think if you don't hold Georgia to under 13 points, they're impossible to beat. Unless you're Alabama.
They're impossible to beat if you get the first 2 drives, dude. We open up. This is impossible to beat. You open up. Before we hike our first snap, we're down 7-0 at the 17-yard line, and we get 2 false starts. So before you hike the ball, it's 1st and 20 from the 7. And then the next possession, you know what happens? We muff a kickoff. We're at the 7-yard line to start, and then you get a punt blocked for a touchdown. The
punter muffed it?
No, the kickoff guy muffed it. AJ Green again. And then he got man. Benched. Yes, he muffed it, and then he goes and picks it up at the 7, and then we get the punt blocked again.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
21-0, game over like that. I was working, turned off the radio, so I'm not listening to this anymore.
Yeah. So if you get obliterated in field position that badly,
yes, dude,
you don't have a chance against Georgia. I'm sorry, you don't.
So we had 5 consecutive drives where they scored 6 points with 2 field goals after the first half. And that's what makes me mad. Because when you do those bad plays at the beginning, you get to where your coordinator can't put in his wrinkle in the defense later on when he needs it, when it's a close game, to switch stuff up. He has to go to we run cover 3 cloud basically every play. He had to go to the cover 1 Jalen Catalon in the middle of the field, and we were stuffing him. But we had to do it in the first quarter instead of the second late or the third quarter late. So then it changed up the whole game plan. You don't have a chance to win the game, and you're just begging for a turnover. Well, it was horrible.
You know this too. Arkansas is not a team that's necessarily built to play or come from behind.
No.
They're just not. Like, if you don't basically shoot yourself in the foot twice, right, if what you're saying. Because I was at the Texas game. I didn't get a chance to watch, so I don't really know anything that happened or how the game flow was. I don't know how, who set the tone. Like, did Arkansas come out flat? Were they scared? Were they nervous? Were they still just so banged up? I don't know what the the cause or the reasoning for some of their blunders were. But Arkansas just simply isn't. They're a team that they want to play defense and they want to run the football. And they're damn good at doing both. But neither of those are necessarily recipes for success, especially when you're having to play from behind from a multi-touchdown deficit, and you add all that on top of doing it against a Georgia team that you just feel defeated in the first, because bro, you walk out there, that's the most talented team in the country. Their blue blood rating, their number of their composite talent rating, based on the number of 4- and 5-star athletes they have on their roster,
can't imagine,
is number 1 in the country.
I bet, dude.
Not even Alabama has more talented players than Georgia does.
They got dudes that are 325 moving like running backs, bro, on the D line.
It's frightening. It's frightening.
And we have a legit offensive line in the SEC, and they made us look like trash.
Well, you guys. I mean, you guys were playing with your food against Texas, against my team, against us.
I'm saying, and y'all have a pretty good run defense.
Impose your will on us, and I think we're a pretty physical football team.
Yeah, we got dominated on Saturday. I'm not mad. I'm honestly not mad. I'm a realistic Arkansas fan. Just because we're ranked number 8 doesn't mean we're gonna win a national championship. I know at the end of the day, we're probably gonna end 8-4.
Yeah,
and you know what?
That's a great season
for us,
bro.
Absolutely. That's our natty.
Yeah.
Go 8-4 and get in a decent bowl game that isn't like the Midas oil change for free bowl. I'm totally cool, bro.
Or just the Valero Alamo Bowl again against Texas.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I was at that game too. That one didn't end well for me either.
No, it didn't. Was that Brandon Allen starting?
I think it was Brandon Allen. Yep.
Oh.
And that was also Tyrone Swoops. Wow, there's a name for you.
Dude, y'all were chanting for that guy to come in.
Yeah, so after
Like at a home game, they're like swoops, swoops.
Yeah. So he was, you know, in a way responsible for the biggest victory at the time I'd ever been to in the win against Notre Dame when they were number 5 in the country, or top 5 in the country.
Texas
at home
is
back. That's Thank you, Mr. Sterator, for
amazing boxing announcer, by the way. Amazing color analyst for boxing.
Or sorry, I said Sterator. I meant Joe Tessitore. You know what I meant, all right?
Yeah, I knew you meant.
He's responsible for that, which is super annoying that I got to deal. I mean,
like
it
that's
is what it is.
a good saying now.
Yeah, that's it.
Texas is back is like a big saying.
Thank you, Joe, for that one. And then Sam really kind of made everything just 10 times. He 10x'd the blowback from what Joe Tessitore originally started. But yeah, man. So Tyrone Swoops, it's crazy. I said after, and this goes back to what we were talking about, like the coaching staff just being different this year. We're already seeing results of that. Like we just got our first win in Fort Worth since Mac Brown at TCU.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So just think about that. Things are looking much better finally after the dark decade. Where was I going with this? I don't even remember.
This happens with me. You turn into me when you're on a podcast with me.
Oh, Tyrone Swoops. That's what
go.
That's what we were doing. We were chanting. I said in response after the first game of this season, we've come a long way since what was it? Cheering for, I guess, basically the 18-wheeler package, like being optimistic about it and talking about it on Twitter. Like at one point, that was like the thing in the Texas fan community. That's hilarious. The 18-wheeler package, yeah, dude, let's go. Most vanilla,
crazy.
Yeah, so we've come a long way since then, which is honestly wild to imagine. But that just goes to show you, man, how bad things really got for a while, you know. And it started off with, there's a lot to kind of like break down, so we don't have time for that tonight. But starting at the very top. Before we get out of
here, I gotta say something.
Okay. Well, no, I'm not ready to be done, but I just don't want to go off on another tangent. So you take the floor, my friend.
It takes. Those are the things you live through when you're a real diehard fan.
Yeah.
You're not some bandwagon, up and down, front runner fan. You live through that. People forget, by the way, the wild cat, they call it, was invented by Houston Nutt at Arkansas.
Yeah.
Wild
I actually knew that.
hog. Derek McFadden threw like 9 touchdown passes in his career at Arkansas. We had Felix Jones, Peyton Hillis, and Darren McFadden. And that's the things we're over here like, when are we going to bring the wild hog back out? Yeah. When are we going to bring it out? And I'm like, we don't have Darren McFadden anymore, bro. We got Ryan Mallett. That's what we got now.
McFadden was so good. He was so fun to watch.
I saw an article. They ranked him the number 2 SEC running back ever behind Herschel Walker. Yeah. People don't know. Dude, you realize he finished second twice to Tim Tebow and Reggie Bush? He finished second in Heisman voting twice to the greatest players ever. Arguably the greatest college football players ever. He finished twice.
Who was it again? Tim Tebow
Tebow and Reggie Bush.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, those guys are both.
Bro, you're talking about 2 top 10 guys at the very least.
Yeah, they're both.
That's who we lost the Heisman to. You can't be mad as an Arkansas
Tim Tebow in the top 5. Maybe an argument for Reggie, like inside the top 10 for sure.
Yeah, I think his explosiveness, and people forget back in the day with the Pac-12, they were playing like Fresno State and all these trash teams back in the day. But yeah.
Yeah, and what's crazy is as good as Reggie Bush was, a lot of people thought that still should have been Vince Young's Heisman anyway that season.
Absolutely.
Which is wild. And there's technically not even one to show for it. Like the 2005 national or Heisman Trophy winner doesn't technically exist.
Pete Carroll wasn't there to show for it either.
Yeah.
He's it, bro.
But I don't care. I mean, I think it's crazy, honestly, that Reggie got it taken away. I don't agree with that.
I don't
I
understand
think
it.
You can't just delete
History.
a historic. Yeah, that
Was
doesn't
that
even
over
do
a
it
SAT
justice, but
score too, or
I don't know the whole gist of
I
it. I know
forgot.
there was.
I was so young when it actually happened. Like,
Yeah.
you remember, like we were really young when it actually happened.
There was a lot
but-
of money involved, for
Yeah.
sure.
Because they kept
But I
going
don't-
to his dad's house, like this is the house he got for going there.
Right.
I'm like, oh my
right.
god.
And what I want fans to know, man, everybody's getting paid. And if they weren't before, which they were, they damn sure are now, because this thing called the NIL,
Yeah.
name, image, and likeness, it exists. And why is that? Well, the NCAA saw no end in sight with the blowback from it. They know they're a corrupt sanctioning organization, and they know they're profiting from those same name, image, and likenesses that they won't even allow the actual players themselves to profit from before this year, right? It's I don't know, man. It's crazy the amount of autonomy that they have. But
If you're
basically,
in
the
a
NCAA
college
is
town for
acknowledging that it's already happening, so you might as well go ahead and acknowledge that you can give
Yes.
Reggie his trophy right back. Because if you didn't fear or understand that players were already being paid anyways, you would never budge on that topic.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it didn't have to change. Like nobody made them do it, but they just did it because they knew that they needed to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then the only reason they had to stop it when they knew it was happening was schools like Ole Miss going from barely top 30 in recruiting to number 1, getting every number 1 recruit. And then the other thing is, if you sit in a college town for 3 days, you start hearing the rumblings. I'm in Baton Rouge right now. I know when a college player is around me because they got a Mercedes.
Yeah.
They got a Challenger that's decked out, or like you always know when someone is a football player.
Oh yeah, you know. Yeah, you definitely know. And
It
it's
is
not a
sad
secret
to see.
anymore. It's like it's finally people are. I think everybody always kind of knew. They just didn't want to admit it. You know, it's like for whatever reason we hold on to these preconceived notions that are our precious little football. Like we want it to be perfect. And we want to make excuses for it, even when they don't necessarily deserve it. Like I think we're already en route. Like there's some pretty interesting literature out there about the NCAA disbanding, just because it's such a flawed organization.
It's terrible.
Lots of things being exposed, lots of things already changing, and these conference realignments are just the start of that. The name, image, and likeness is just the start of that. Like we're only seeing the beginning of what's ultimately going.
We're
to
about to
become
see
a completely different game. Yeah,
We're about to see an NCAA where we see 6 conferences, and 5 of them are going to be the Power 5, and the other one is going to be all the trash teams. And then that team is going to be like the wild card. The conference winner of that one's going to be like the wild card to the tournament or something. I know they're going to cook up something crazy where we got like 20 teams in each conference or something. They do a conference tourney. Then it's all a money play. Whatever makes money, they will form it into a ball, find a way to do it. And then, because, now 4 teams is too little. But then if you expand it to 6 teams, why not make it 8 teams? This is the problem with doing the playoff.
Yeah,
But I
you
like
always
the
kinda,
playoff.
like want more. You can always like make an excuse to add on, but I don't know.
Yes. That's what I think they should do, the in and out thing like they do with the NCAA tournament. Like this team got in a little bit. Give me the two wild card teams or whatever, but I mean, it is what it is. The top 4 are usually the top 4 teams in the country, and it's going to be Alabama versus whoever. That's what it's going to come down to anyway, so.
Yeah, man. It's going to be crazy to see it all unfold. Unfortunately, my freaking audio is starting to go wacko on me again, so we're 27 minutes into the 3rd one now. We'll go ahead and call it a night, man. It's been a blast. Can't wait to do this again. Hopefully,
So fun.
we get some decent feedback from this and some good reviews from our peers and those who happen to click. It's been a fun one. We've covered everything from Cowboys football, Bucks football,
Having a baby.
college football, even our own personal lives. Yeah, everything, man, between basically just sports and life. just from a couple dudes that are just, out here trying to find our way. So thank y'all for tuning in, man. It's been the Lando Show. It's been shooting the shit with Sands, Hunter Lee Sands, the degenerate himself, man.
The God.
Thank you guys. Thank you for listening. Please don't hesitate to share. Don't forget to subscribe to both of our platforms. He's on YouTube. He's all over the place. Basically every platform where you can download.
I'll comment
podcasts. Below. Yeah. We'll have all that stuff linked hopefully. But yeah, man. Hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to you later.
See ya.